My name is DJ Amin-Ra. Touring with e-dubble and 27 Lights. We just had a show at the Mideast Club tonight. It was really cool, really fun. It was actually our very first performance as a group. We've got a couple more shows coming up next week. On the 19th, I believe we'll be in Baltimore at the 8x10. And then we're going to be hitting up the Midwest in August for a couple of shows. Chicago, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, and I believe a couple more. Tonight was like the first time I got to see everybody kind of jam out and get into their elements. And our drummer kind of hit these couple of rolls, and I was just like, oh man, I haven't heard him, bust out like that. So seeing everybody on stage and like just being themselves, having a good time, playing music, that's what we do. That's what we love. That's why we do this. The band is more of a collective effort. You kind of go off of everyone's vibe and go off of everyone's energy and just feel each other out. And there's just more to it. With the DJing solo, kind of all the responsibility falls on you. And so it's very systematic, and there's room for movement, but it's kind of a little bit more structured. Versus the band, you can have like the drummer go off on a 1 minute solo, and there's pauses. Like there's a song, it stops. Versus DJing, it's like continuous flow. The music stops, but not, doesn't pause like it would with a band. So it's just great to be around other people that play music, because DJing is fun and everything, but sometimes you want people to be engaging with you. And I don't mean just like crowd members. I mean like other DJs or other like musicians, that you want them to kind of, you get it when you the oohs and ahs and stuff, but it's cool to have like that constant camaraderie amongst like other musicians and stuff. Vince, he's more of the producer and he's more of like the composer. And I feel what I can do is I can arrange better versus composing better, just because of the structure of like music. Being a DJ, you kind of get what the structures are, the highs, the lows, and where it needs to go and what it needs to do. So we talked about it, and he's interested in messing with Ableton. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ableton. There's like Logic and Ableton. Those are like the Mac-based products. But we've all talked about different things, so I think we're definitely going to get together, all of us together. All right, I'm going to put this on record. And I've had multiple arguments with people in the past couple of days about this. 2 Chainz is a very smart guy. And I don't mean smart in the sense of like, let's have worldly discussions and discuss political issues in Kazakhstan. But I mean like as a hustle, as a businessman, like you can't be that successful continuously and not be doing something right. If it's not you, it's somebody on your team. Like come on, man. I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. It doesn't get any better than that. Like, and then seriously, man. And it's like, it's so simple, but it's just like, she got a big booty. So I call it big booty. Like, it makes sense. Standing ovation, 2 Chainz. Standing ovation. Yeah, the latest one, Feds is watching. He's got Pharrell on board. Like, Feds is watching, man. Look at Prism, Feds is watching. He knows these things. He's aware. He's aware, guys. He's aware. I went and played in Cyprus, which is an island in the Mediterranean. Shout out to Power Cyprus, powercyprus.com. It's a online radio station. And it's my second time playing there. And basically it's just, being overseas is very different than playing in the States, because the States leads the trend with everything. Like always has, always will. So whenever talent comes from overseas to Europe or anywhere else, like it's a big deal. And so it's kind of awkward, because people are like coming up to you like, I've listened to your stuff. I love it. Like, can I get your autograph? Like they gave me these little like flyers and people were signing, and it's really awkward. It's not awkward in the sense of like not making me feel comfortable, but it's just like, I've never experienced this before. So I understand like why people love to travel and why people love to tour. I went to Amsterdam for 2 days. Great city. Like, if put it on your list, I don't mean just for the weed. Like, I saw people bike riding that were 80 years old, to 5-year-olds, and everyone's on a bike. Just, it's got a lot of history to it. It's walkable, beautiful people. And then finally I went to Egypt for about 2 weeks, as you can tell, and spent some time there. And the most interesting thing I came across was the culture shift towards like music. It's no longer just East and West. It's East has met West. I saw kids street dancing in the middle of the street, like break dancing, popping and locking, and I've never seen that. And then the graffiti was next level. It's got a message. It's got a canvas. It's powerful. But these are the things I've never experienced in Egypt before or seen in Egypt. So it's really great to have you know, hip hop and the influences of music, and see how it like affects people worldwide. And music is the most universal language, you know, like, and it's the most powerful one as well. If you get, you know, there's three things people know: McDonald's, Michael Jackson, and Coca-Cola. I mean, there's people that don't speak any English and know Michael Jackson songs from top to bottom. I mean, how many guys do you know put people out, like fainted and almost died at concerts? Watching that footage of him in like Budapest or something, it's like they have EMTs on standby. When's the last time you saw somebody pass out at a show? Not at a 2 Chainz show, I tell you that much. Like, he's powerful. It's powerful in music, man. It's power in music. So I feel that's my weapon of choice, and I get to go to different places and play for different people. And the one thing that remains constant is the music. It doesn't change. Like, there's music that's going to make you happy. There's music that's going to make you sad. I don't care what language you speak. It speaks to everybody. So playing with that and doing it in different environments and realizing, like, it doesn't matter where you are. It's the same thing. So it's a great feeling to have. For the first time, I feel like I know a lot of people like yourself, people like e-dubble, 27 Lights. Like, these are all talented individuals, and we have the canvas to do whatever we want here in the States. But it's very rare that talent leaves the States and goes to places like Egypt or places with political turmoil, or because everyone kind of feels unsafe. And it's not. That's how it's portrayed, but it's not like that. I had some friends come visit me from Arizona. Shout out Taji Sharp. And, you know, we had a great time. Like, he never felt uncomfortable. But my thing is, I want to teach people. I want to, like, bring some dancers over from, you know, America's Crew, whatever the show was called. And, you know, have them teach some kids, and, like, this will impact them because they've never experienced something like that, and B, this is something that they love and they really enjoy. So having them do it is just like, blur it out some more, please. Having them do it, you know, it'll impact them in ways that we won't be able to see, like, right away. But down the future, you never know, like, who they're going to help or who they might turn out to be. So that's what I feel I can do, is I can bring some music and some culture and, like, have both cultures meet each other, because it's not far off, man. Like, the world is ever so more connected than it ever has been. You know, the internet, social media. I mean, you can just call anybody, you know, even if for very cheap. It's not like how it used to be. You don't have to go to a landline. So bridging the gap between two cultures and getting people to understand each other a little bit more and realize, like, no matter what, you know, we have certain things in common, and if we capitalize on those, like, things will be great. That's about it.
Do you have a name for the showcase?
I don't. It's going to happen sometime in 2014. With the situation being as it is right now, I can't make any promises as far as when exactly it's going to happen, because certain things have to come about. You know, last thing I want to do is take some friends to Egypt and have them get caught up in, like, a 22 million people riot. So I think the next couple months are really going to show us what the change and what people want and, like, what they're asking for. And then I think 2014 we should be good. But it'll be like a nice 2-week thing, and get to see the country, have some fun, get to play some music, get to teach some people a couple of things. So I think it'll work out for both parties, because all my friends, they all want to go to Egypt. They've all had, like, a fascination about Egypt. So having them come to Egypt and then having them do something that they love and, like, this is what they do, I think it'll be, like, extremely gratifying for everybody involved. I'm going to put it out into 2 sequences. First part being in August, second part a little bit later on in the year. It's basically exactly everything that we just talked about. I have some footage of some kids dancing in the middle of Al-Azhar Park, which is like I'm blanking right now. The big garden in New York. Central Park. Thank you. But it's like maybe a plot of Central Park. But just, it's having all these things incorporated. I'll have some shots from Cyprus, the club, but also talking to some people on the streets as far as, like, what it is that they want, what it is that they'd like to see change. And then you're going to get, like, some dope-ass graffiti, things that you wouldn't expect to see. And it really, like, mess with your head, because they're powerful messages and you can relate to them, and the expressions, you feel, like, the pain and anger and, like, the happiness in these messages. So, and then it's going to incorporate guys like 27 Lights and e-dubble, what we do, things on the road, blunders on the road. There's going to be plenty of like mistakes that we make and fuck ups, and just you never know what's going to happen. But most importantly, I just want to talk about culture and music and how like no matter where you are or what you're doing, it's all the same. Everyone shares the same common emotions and joy and all that in music. Hit me up on DJamenra.com, DJamenra.com, at DJ Amenra for Twitter. SoundCloud's the same. Facebook is DJ Amenra Music. Everything's pretty much connected, so if you go to one, you'll find the other. Man, it feels good out here in Boston. Why would these fuckers give me a mic and have me sit in front of this with no crotch? This is a recipe for disaster. Any hip-hop, what are you doing? Please do not put that on the internet.